From the Spook House, the home of the Gray Ghosts at IVC High School in Chillicothe, Illinois, we are set for a Class 2A regional title game between the #1 ranked P&D Irish and the visiting Sherrard Tigers. Good evening, everyone. Hoping you're having a great Friday evening. I'm Jonathan Michael of Clutch Sports Media alongside Canton Sectionals. Canton, really excited for this game. The Irish are having a fantastic year. Like we said, top ranked in the state. This is just another step on their journey. Sherrard, though, is going to try and make them have other plans.
Yeah, John, I mean, PND has had the #1 seed in Class 2A week after week after week, and they've done it again. Sherrard has not been ranked yet. They've received votes in the poll, but have not yet earned a number. Sherrard, by no means, has had a bad season. They're 17-12 overall. They got an 8-4 record in their conference, which is the Three Rivers West Conference. However, they started out 12-5 and have not had some luck down the stretch.
Sherrard, though, did win their regional semifinal game. They beat the host of these regionals, IVC, 51-35 on Tuesday. P&D demolished their opponent in the regional semifinals, playing Kewanee 89-26, the final score. Scores like that have been pretty common for P&D. They certainly earned that #1 spot because of games like that, and they're moving down to Class 2A this year, so they're looking for a deep run and looking to win their first regional title in some time.
You know, John, it's been a lot of firsts this year so far for Peoria Notre Dame. It's their first time ever winning the Big 12 after being in the league since 2013-2014. They have not taken a regional title in 7+ years, hoping to do such today.
They certainly are. Sherrard is looking for their 14th regional title in school history. They've won regionals in 2 consecutive years, have a little bit of a younger roster this year. They lost a couple all-conference players. They certainly bring a good team in from around the Quad Cities area. P&D has been one of the best in all of Central Illinois this entire year, 28-4, like we said, conference champions as well, undefeated in Big 12 play. That was a big goal for them this year. And really, the Irish, they're setting their goals kind of one at a time. They're not looking too far ahead. They're not looking forward to state. They wanted to win the conference. They did that. Now they want to win the regional. They have an opportunity to do that today. Then they'll put their focus on sectionals.
No, you said it right, John. They're not trying to get too far ahead of themselves. They're thinking of the one game at a time mentality. However, as I spoke with the coach earlier on this week, Lane Landhoff, the girls set the goal themselves this season to win the conference and to go undefeated in that conference. That was the girls' goal, not the coaching goal, and they went out and they proved that they can do it, and they did it. They only lost 4 games, all non-conference, 1 against Lincoln and 2 against Alden, and those are the 3 games that they continually talk about, they continually look back at, and they've kind of used to keep the pressure going and keep the gas moving as we've came down the stretch.
P&D certainly has lots of gas in the tank. We'll see how much they have against the Sherrard Tigers. It's 2A regional basketball. We'll step aside for a quick break. Come right back on Clutch Sports Media.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps covered in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories. Your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action, more stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
As we take a quick break for the national anthem, we are ready to go from IVC to a regional title on the line. Someone's going to be holding the plaque in just over an hour. Ready for the starting lineups. Let's meet Sherrard's first. The visitors, they are wearing purple with gold numbers and gold trim as well. A pretty nice looking set. It's Navi Lyon, a senior forward in number 5. Number 10, a junior guard, Rachel Fender. Their team leader in three-pointers, Josie Harkey. Number 12 in purple, a junior 5'9" forward. They're joined by Adeline Ellsbury, a 5'5" sophomore guard, and Violet Meskin, a 5'6" junior guard as well. Caden, we're definitely looking at Violet Meskin and Adeline Ellsbury as some big contributors for Sherrard.
Yeah, Sherrard does not have a single scorer above 10 points per game, but Violet Meskin has 9.5 and Adeline Ellsbury has 9.8. So definitely look for those two on the offensive front.
Certainly, and for PND, their starting 5 is about what you'd expect if you've been following the Irish this season. It's number 5 in white, Julia Mingus, a 5'6" junior guard. She's joined by Caitlin Cassidy, who's been playing very well lately, a 5'11" junior guard and very versatile. Maya Wardle, 5'7" senior guard, a first-team All-Stater, Eastern Kentucky commit. Her younger sister, Emmy Wardle, number 23, a 5'9" freshman guard, and Lexi Bear, a 6'1" sophomore forward who can really shoot the ball as well for Irish.
Whenever you have somebody who is a commit, you know that you have a dangerous player on the floor, not to mention that she's just one of PND's many weapons.
She certainly is. Maya Wardle can score the ball, but she loves to get her teammates involved. Irish play fast, and they're almost too unselfish at times. That's what head coach Lynn Langhoff says. We'll take a look at them. The opening possession here is Mingus. Gives it over to Cassidy. Back up top to Maya Wardle. She'll hand it off over to her little sister, Emmy. Back up top to Cassidy now. Spins in. Nice kick out. Mingus is open three. Just rattles off. Tigers going the other way. This is Ellsbury, the sophomore. Now Meskin. Takeaway by the Irish. They feast off of turnovers. Here's Cassidy in transition, and the finish. PND's on the board early.
And that's one thing that you definitely notice about PND is they love to steal the ball. They have several players that are averaging more than 2 steals a night, and so that's something that you got to look out for if you're the Sherrard offense is just ball security.
That's certainly a big key for the Tigers is to don't turn the ball over and give PND more chances, and they can get. And if you're PND, I think the key for them is just don't beat yourself and just play your ball game. It's worked for them this year. 3 ball was off the mark from Harkey, but nice offensive board And travel will turn it back over to the Irish.
Yeah, that was an excellent save there by the Tigers. There was just nobody home forcing travel there. That gives the ball right back to PND anyhow.
Another key also for Notre Dame is to also box out. I was at Metamora and Washington's regional title game last night, and Metamora lost the game, but they hung around because they got to the offensive glass. We'll see if PND can win the offensive glass battle today. Bear travels and gives it right back to Sherrard, who themselves traveled probably about between an hour to an hour and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Swanson when they got here. Oh, and that's a great feed down to the paint.
Through contact, Harkey can't get it to go. And there's Bear ready with the rebound, and here comes the Irish quickly in transition. Shot fakes in the high post. Wardle's wide open for 3 on the wing. Off to the left, and Mingus is there with the board. 3 ball again. Bear in the corner. Can't quite get the shooter's touch. But back to your point, talking to Coach Swanson, Caden.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Swanson. He said it was a lot quicker of a drive for them this time. That being, they were just here on Monday to play the host IVC. They started that game off a little slow, starting off 15-9 before ending the first quarter down 19-5. They were able to come back, though, quickly in that game and get a 51-35 victory.
Wardle tried to tight rope the sideline and just ran out of real estate. Goes back to Sherrard, who's still looking for their first bucket, but has played some good defense early on, trying to interrupt some of that P&D rhythm as we see the Irish bring on the press. A little bit of a diamonded one look here from the Irish. Push it up the court, bringing it across is Ellsbury. Taken away, though. Here's Wardle in transition. She's fouled before the shot. No, she traveled. P&D has turned the ball over a couple times, Caden, something to monitor as we get deeper into this one.
I think both these teams are experiencing a lot of pressure. P&D is applying the pressure. They're continuing to press, and they're about to press again, which is going to cause Sherrard to kind of have to adjust. But I think Sherrard is playing a lot of a very aggressive defense and very hard defense. That's something that P&D I don't think is expecting, because it's getting in their heads, and they're making some just a couple mistakes here early on, John.
Shot off the mark, though, from Meskin. P&D's played good defense. Here's Wardle, dribbles in. Pull-up look is off the backboard and out. And I think we're going to get an over-the-back call on Lexi Bear.
You could see that is Maya Wardle there, who just walked around, locked all eyes with all 4 of her starters on the court, and just told them all to take a deep breath and calm down. She can definitely see the jitters in her teammates as they're pressing again. And tipped that one out of bounds was Caitlin Cassidy for PND. The press is definitely working, John.
And press has really frustrated a lot of opponents this year. PND doesn't give up many points per game, and they score a ton as well. In fact, their last 3 games, they've scored over 80 per game.
You know, one thing that Swanson talked to me about is how they were going to practice the inbounding, and I was a little surprised when he said that. Not very surprised anymore with how aggressive PND has become with their immediate press.
Tigers looking to get on the board. We're already approaching the halfway mark of the first quarter. Irish have gotten some looks near the paint, just haven't gotten them to fall yet. Ball is on the ground, and we're going to get a jump. Arrow favors.
Jump ball possession to Notre Dame.
And it goes to Notre Dame as
For Sherrard, number 34, Kendall Maynard. Number 42, Grace Boner.
Grace Boner comes into the game for Sherrard. And Caden, we talked with head coach Doug Swanson. He's an interesting player for the Tigers. Been a big factor for them, but has been limited in her playing time.
Yeah, you know, Grace Boner was a starter in the beginning of this year. Then right around at the Christmas tournament time, she developed mono and was out for a long period of time. Now she has not been returned to the starting lineup yet, but she is back on the court. They've been playing her off the bench.
And on the drive, Bear committed her second foul of the game, so she's already got 2 with 4:04 left to go. I rather know that one goes on Cassidy, so both her and Bear both have 1. But Boner, a player that we can expect to see play in spurts, so Always got to keep an eye when she is on the floor. First free throw is up and good for Adeline Ellsbury. Ellsbury at a team-high 20 in that win over IVC. Offensive rebound by Harkey. Kicks it back over. Kendall Maynard, and her layup is too strong. On the offensive glass, there's Boner again, and she's fouled. Talk about the offensive glass, how it's going to be a key in this one.
Yeah, Sherrard definitely is going to try and utilize the paint here tonight. I think they're continuously trying to drive into the paint, trying to create opportunities. And, you know, maybe that's trying to force a foul. Maybe that's just because they excel in the paint. Either way, they have got a lot of shooters who are trying to score their points down low.
That was Bear's second foul, so she does have 2, and she will, in fact, sit. Allie Stickelmeyer, a 6-foot junior, into the game for her, so they definitely don't lose any size, bringing Stickelmeyer off the bench. Second free throw, no good. Rebound fought for. Sherrard wins it. Tigers really doing well to keep getting extra possessions. Ellsbury looking, finds Maynard in traffic. Her layup, count the bucket. How about Sherrard?
That was a beautiful basket there by number 42, Grace Bonart.
Fouls on number 5, Julia Mingus.
Foul going to Mingus there, John.
Sherrard
already 4 fouls
already
for PND.
in the bonus for PND. And Boner completes the 3-point play, so a little spurt that she'll be on the floor has already been a good one for the Tigers, who have an early lead over the number 1 PND Irish. Cassidy finds Wardle. Energy picking up on the Sherrard side. Wardle drives in, gets double teamed. Mingus, open 3 ball, rims out. And a rebound brought in by Maynard. Quickly up the floor, 3 ball from Meskin is good. The Tigers lead by 6. Lane Langhoff wants a timeout. How about Sherrard, Caden, coming in and laying the hammer down against the number 1 team in the state.
Not only is the hammer down, but the purple are on their feet. Looks like there's some confusion on the floor, though. Lanehart called his timeout.
There was a whistle. I gotta admit, not sure if there's 100% sure if there's a timeout call. There's a delay of game warning issued to Sherrard. I don't believe it was a timeout, actually. Wardle's 3 is off the mark. Volleyballed around, and P&D retains possession.
That was a great tip there by Cassie to get that rebound into an arms of another Irish.
And Wardle finishes off the possession with a nice layup. P&D's cut it to 8-4. Tigers working the ball around. 3 ball on the way again. That one off from Meskin. It will stay with the purple and gold.
Late substitution there, as it looks like senior Bridget Dooley is coming in for Cassidy.
Dooley, another big player on the bench for P&D, celebrated her senior night in a big way against Manual last week. That was a really big win for P&D, at least in terms of point margin. That's the one where they put up 80 on the Rams. And Dooley with the takeaway. She's got open and layup in transition. Hops, steps, doesn't finish. Maynard brings it in. Here comes Sherrard in transition the other way. Layup is up and good from Meskin. She's got 5 early points. P&D looking slightly out of sorts here in the early going, looking to find a rhythm and play basketball that they've accustomed to. Wardle's shot no good. She wanted a foul. Claims she got hacked. No whistle. Now Sherrard will slow things down just a bit. P&D is in a spot they haven't been much this season, Caden, playing from behind.
Yeah, I mean, if you're P&D definitely looks a little bit rattled right now. This is not the situation that they are used to playing in. They are not expecting it.
Fouls on number 22, Maya Wardle.
That foul going on Maya Wardle, so now it should result in free throws for Sherrard. I don't know if the referees are aware of that, and now they are.
You can call it a breather. Cassidy's already back on the court for P&D.
As a player you do want on the floor, she had a team-high 20 in that regional semifinal win over Kewanee. She's such a versatile piece of this P&D team, averages double figures in points and more than a couple rebounds, steals, assists. She does it all for the Irish, and she's only a junior as well. One more coming from Harkey.
Harkey's averaging 3.2 points a night this season. And misses both.
Opportunity for P&D to cut into the deficit a bit. Here's Wardle bringing it up with some speed. Finds Emmy Wardle back in the corner. Nice spin move from the freshman. Kicks it out to a wide open Cassidy for three. Nothing but net. Big shot for the Irish. And they needed that one. As another delay of game warning, this time on P&D. It goes on Maya Wardle. I don't think we've ever seen two of them in the same quarter before, at least I haven't.
I don't think I have either, John. And we're only 7 minutes into this game.
Some refs just have their own, call their games own personal ways. Some of them may just let it go, and others may call it more often.
Interception there by Cassidy. We were talking earlier about how P&D loves the steal.
And Emmy Wardle in transition got fouled. First foul of the ball game for Sherrard, and P&D fans giving a little bit of a maybe perhaps sarcastic cheer as Wardle will head to the line. The freshman has got a very bright future in front of her. Her and Maya, obviously, as many Peorians know, maybe for our Sherrard audience, daughters of Bradley head coach Brian Wardle, who's leading the Braves to a good season again in the MVC. In fact, they'll be taking on a team of purple and gold themselves tomorrow when they face the Northern Iowa Panthers. Offensive rebound from Cassidy, who puts it back up and in, and all of a sudden we're tied back up at 10.
Yeah, P&D can't be kept down for long as that 10-4 deficit goes away with 30 seconds left as they force a turnover there.
6-0 run for the Irish, and their defense forcing another turnover there. That press really can force a lot of teams to try and chuck the ball down, try and get that home run pass. It's a big risk. If it works out, you get open layup. If not, you throw it out of bounds and give it back. So Tigers give P&D another chance. Wardle kicks it back out. Mingus had the open three but couldn't hang on to it.
Wardle's trying to get somebody open. She's going to drive it herself.
Wardle doing a good job of getting her teammates involved, and Emmy Wardle on the drive. Gets it in, and an 8-0 run gives P&D the lead. 4 seconds left for Sherrard. I don't think they're aware of that, and
I think the press just got too much in their heads, John.
so P&D goes through a little bit of a rut in the first quarter, but they finished it off strongly. 8-0 run gives them a 12-10 advantage through 8 minutes here at the Spook House at IVC, 2A regional title on the line here on CSM. And we want to take this quick break to, I knew that you should head on over to CSM Overtime. More action, more stories. It's where you go beyond the broadcast, the home of all of our written content covering all Central Illinois high school sports. Head to clutchsportsil.com/overtime. We have plenty of good content on there. News, feature stories, analysis pieces, power rankings, athlete of the week votings, AP rankings just about every week, although final rankings have been in for girls basketball, but plenty there on CSM Overtime. Scan the QR code or head to clutchsportsil.com/overtime and check it all out. In fact, we'll have a story from this game. Our Michael Savoy in the stands, and they'll be writing a story on this one. It's been a fun one so far here at IVC.
It has been. Let's talk about that last basket from Emmy Wardle. She was able to drive into the paint and decided to make the move on 3 defenders and then split all of them and had the wide open layup, John. I mean, it just looked like magicianry.
It was a very nice basket there from Emmy Wardle. Again, just a freshman. Her sister Maya's committed to play at Eastern Kentucky, and I think basketball in college may be in Emmy's future. But here's Maya driving in with an and one, and you see she is amped up, trying to get this team excited, keep that big run going.
Yeah, that's 4 points on the night from Maya. She goes to the line, but I think I haven't seen her with as much energy as she had for just that layup right there.
Wardle just such an outstanding leader for that team, and we'll get an over-the-back call. I believe that one was on Caitlin Cassidy. And it is, so that's Cassidy's second. Her and Bear have 2.
Bears just now returned to the court in this, for the first time since the first quarter. Once she got her second foul early on, Coach Lanehoff decided to give her a breather.
Gotta be careful playing with those 2 fouls. P&D they like to play aggressive. That's for sure, as Wardle shows the hands, no foul there. Maynard driving into the high post. And we travel on the Tigers, and all of a sudden, Caden, they're like a little out of sync now. They had a good start offensively, and now that P&D defense throwing a wrench in their plans.
Yeah, you know, when this game started, there was the press definitely made the Tigers look uncomfortable, but the Tigers were able to work through it.
Three ball from Mingus is good. That continues to run. 13-0 spurt for P&D.
Yeah, as I was saying, and PND was a little frazzled that the Tigers were still getting points on the board. Now that the Tigers are getting shut down on defense, the Irish are definitely a lot more calm and a lot more comfortable right now, and they're showing it on the court.
Pass into the post, but Boner can't finish the layup on an open look. Irish with a chance to compound on this big run. Mingus finds a wide open Bear at the top of the key. That one rolls in. And timeout called by Sherrard. This is the P&D that many people have been accustomed to seeing. 16-0 run, and good timeout from Doug Swanson to try and stop the bleeding momentarily.
Yeah, Swanson, you know, he just talked to me about how he's coached, both these coaches have been at their respective programs for over a decade. Neither have seen the opponent. Doug Swanson in his 14th season here just wants to and understands that the what kind of a threat PND is, but has not seen it or has not seen his girls ever play against them. You know, playing an opponent for the first time ever with the regional and intensity, it's not, you know, I mean, you'd rather play a regional against somebody who you've seen before, where you know their strategies and you can kind of pick apart what you already know. Going into somebody that with no experience and no background, on top of the energy of the regional and the intensity, makes it a little bit harder, John.
Certainly, these two teams don't face off too terribly often a little bit. That makes it, you know, at least for viewers at home and people like us, it makes it fun to see, you know, Sherrard play against P&D. We did see Sherrard at the State Farm Holiday Classic where they won the Consolation Bracket Championship. So that was a good stretch there for the Tigers. They've been down at Bloomington Normal around Christmas time for the past couple years, and that's when we've been able to see them. Comes a press for P&D. Now it's Ellsbury to bring things up. We'll see if Sherrard relies on her. Again, she's just a sophomore, and we'll get a push on Maya Wardle, so that's 2 for her, joining Cassidy and Bear. In case you're just tuning in, Sherrard led 10-4 at one point, and since then it's been all P&D on both ends of the court. Here comes a backcourt double team. Got to get some help up there. If you're the Tigers, they do. Open pass to Harkey, her layup's off the mark. A second chance and one by Violet Mesky, who's putting together a nice game early, up to 7 points of Sherrard's 12.
Yeah, a little bit too hard of a layup there for Josie Harkey, but a great rebound and shot from Meskin with a lot of pressure from the Irish.
It's a big shot for Sherrard. Those and ones always feel like, you get the 2 points and potentially 3 as Meskin does there. Plus you get a little emphasis as well. It kind of fires up your team, and that's what Sherrard needs to get back within arm's reach of the Irish. Here's Wardle. She'll shoot from way downtown and make it. Wardle can shoot the ball as well as pass it. She's now got 7, tying Cassidy.
Yeah, Wardle likes to be unselfish first. She likes to get those assists as she's averaging 7 a night. But she also knows that she can score when she has to. As much as she loves being unselfish, she can score as well.
She's sort of almost the Rajon Rondo of this P&D team. Just double-double threat every night. Not as much in points and rebounds as much as in points and assists. Nice moves in the post from Meskin. She's up to double figures already. And Sherrard back to within 8.
Yeah, for P&D to pull away, they're going to have to find a way to stop Violet Meskin. She's already got 10 of this 15 for the Tigers.
Mingus's 3 is no good. Second chance bucket by Cassidy was just bounced off. Great hustle from Emmy Wardle, but a little too aggressive there. She'll get called for the foul. That's her first of the game and P&D's 4th, so Sherrard's now in the bonus early on again.
Yeah, this is not something I think that you would expect if you're the Tigers to have entered the bonus in the first half of both quarters, Sean.
They've been doing most of their work down near the post as well, trying to get those easy looks and get to the line as well. Tigers swing it around, finds in the post, Lyon, her shot straight up and down. Mingus with some speed, other way. P&D wanted a foul and didn't get it. Here's Rachel Fender with it for Sherrard. He's certainly an impact maker. And another turnover by the Irish. Here comes Wardle with some speed, and it's poked out. And a foul on Adeline Ellsbury. That will send Wardle to the line. That's what's so tough about this P&D team, Caden, is they just are so active on defense with their hands, and it just leads to so many runouts in transition. This team has a pretty good future, I think, if any of them wanted to run track or cross country, because these Irish run quite a bit.
One thing that I found interesting so far, John, is Maya Wardle and Cassidy have both have had 2 fouls. Lexi Bear had the 2 fouls first, but she's back on the bench. Bear's back on the bench. Wardle and Cassidy have stayed out there. I think Cassidy was on the bench for a minute, but Wardle has stayed out there with her 2 fouls. However, Coach Lane Landhoff has continued to put Bear on the bench. I think she's seen less than 3 minutes in this game so far.
She'll go back out on the court for sure pretty soon, but this group is working well for the Irish. 3 ball on the way from Meskin is short. Irish lead by 10, approaching the halfway point of the second quarter. Dooley's left wide open in the post. Kicks it out. Wardle's 3 on the way, too strong. And off the back iron. Maynard. Now for Sherrard. Gonna drive in, and she traveled, took 3 steps there. And back to P&D. The winner of this game will face the winner of Bloomington Central Catholic and Eureka, who are facing off in the Fieldcrest regional title game tonight. We'll try and keep you updated on that and keep you updated on Maya Wardle. A layup gives P&D a 12-point advantage. Another timeout called by the Tigers.
Timeout Sherrard is a full timeout.
Maya Wardle, as we talked about, she is very unselfish. She averages 7 assists a night. One thing that when I talked to Lane Hoff told me this about her is that she accomplished her 1,000th career point in the first game of the season, but she will never tell you that. If you talk to her about that, she'll move on to the next question. She'll ignore it. She doesn't want to talk about her points. She wants to talk about her assists, and she wants to talk about how she helps the rest of the team and is a team player, not a scorer.
Certainly, and we saw that early deficit, her wanting to get her team going, just telling her teammates to calm down, just play your game, and she does such a good job of directing traffic on the court, and as well just almost being an extra coach sort of at that timeout. Certainly gets maybe that from her dad. He gets her defensive instincts. I talked to her earlier in the year about this from her mom, Leisha, a star soccer player at Marquette, who is an ultimate menace on defense from what I've heard.
Yeah, and even right there, once they left the huddle, the only voice talking was Maya Wardle. She definitely is the leader on the floor and the voice that the rest of the team sees. You can watch her, and she's always communicating throughout this game. Out there now on the defense is Maya Wardle.
And three ball is off the mark from Ellsbury, much too strong. Cassidy puts it back over to Wardle. Here's Dooley. Now to Mingus. Nice driving kick offense from P&D tonight, always finding the open girl, and Dooley gets her name in the scorebook, her first bucket of the game. (29-15), P&D leads, and it seems like in just a bit longer than a blink of an eye, P&D is gone from down 6 to nearly doubling up Sherrard. That's just how quick they can get it in gear, and that's what makes this team so dangerous. Tigers inbound. Double team by Dooley and Emmy Wardle. Here's on the drive, Ellsbury off the glass, too strong. Second chance from Lyon. Third chance up from Meskin. And we're going to get a foul. Looks like on Sherrard. That one goes on Meskin, her first, and Sherrard's third of the second quarter. Sherrard bringing intense defense as well. Swinging around, Wardle's three ball is up and good. She's taking on a scoring lead as well, up to 12, and P&E leads by 17.
First member of the Irish to get to double digits, John. Only averaging 13 on the season, and she has 12 so far tonight.
This could be a big game for her. It already is one. Ellsbury's layup is up and good. Sherrard could definitely use more of that, especially from Ellsbury, a big playmaker. Emmy Wardle's three, top of the key is good. 35-17, Irish lead. Another turnover, Wardle, and she got pushed. In a little bit of traffic, but boy, she was ready to get out of that traffic and get out in transition.
Yeah, Maya Wardle with 3.2 steals per game, and I think she's had 2 or 3 already tonight. She is definitely playing very aggressive on defense. It's resulted her 2 fouls, but also 2 steals, kind of the payoff.
I think this Irish team knows, when to be aggressive and when to not be, and certainly I think once the game moves along and okay, this is a foul, this isn't, get to adjust to what the referees are calling. I think you kind of know, like, okay, I can get away with this, but not that. I think P&D is starting to figure that out just a little bit, and they have limited Sherrard to just 7 points in the last about 10 minutes or so of game time.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of travels in this game. The refs are definitely trying to call that. But as you were saying, they've been pressing a little bit less, and they've kind of just been more consistently strong on defense instead of trying to be a forceful at once, because when they were forceful all at once, they were resulting in fouls. Now they're just trying to play double. They're just trying to lock down, and it's resulting the same output of quality defense, but not the fouls that they were getting in the first half of this game.
They've done a good job of not putting Sherrard at the line. They've 4 fouls. Next one would put him in the bonus, but they haven't been there yet. Wardle's 3 ball was feeling it, but that one not there. Rebound, though. Sticklemeyer gives it back up to Wardle. She'll get a screen from Dooley. Finds Mingus in the corner. Nice feed to Emmy Wardle on the cut. Layups up and good. Boy, that pass had eyes in the back of their head. Another steal. Here's Wardle in transition. Jump stops, wide open layup. 4 in a row for Emmy Wardle. Both Wardle sisters have combined for 24.
Yeah, they're each at a dozen, and they're the only 2 Irish that have double-digit points are the 2 Wardle sisters.
It's a great dynamic for them. You know, yeah, Maya's getting steals, and Emmy's all ready to running out in transition. That sisterly dynamic and bond is really been big. This is the only year that they get to play high school basketball together.
Fouls on number 5, Julia Mingus.
Yes, as Emmy is the freshman and Maya is the senior. This is the one and only chance, and this is one of the best seasons that P&D's ever had. They're getting to do it and experience it together.
It's been an amazing ride for P&D. We wrote about that on CSM Overtime. Story from their senior night about their seniors who have been, again, this has been a great way for them certainly to go out. I mean, what a memorable season. You're on the brink of 30 wins. They could pick up win number 29 tonight. Win the conference to the top team in the state, and a big opportunity to go to the state championship, but some business to take care of first.
Lexi Bear there checked back in at that buzzer, so she returns with 30 seconds left in the second half. This is the first time she's been out since the 7-minute mark of the second half, John.
Takeaway by Sherrard. Meskin tried to get a foul at the horn. Sherrard's sideline begging for a call, but no contact was made, and that's where we'll leave it at the half. P&D leads 39-18. How about after only having 4 halfway through the first quarter? They've scored 35 points in the last 12 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, the Sherrard sideline definitely wanted that foul there on the shot. But, you know, 1 foul is not going to make that much of a difference, John. The momentum changed. It changed in a massive way. It went from 10-4 to quickly being 39-18. I mean, that felt like a very, very long 5 minutes to did they actually play 2 full halves?
Well, P&D is certainly impressed on both the offensive and the defensive end. Sherrard's got work to do, but again, there is some nice stretches for the Tigers in the first half. For them, Violet Meskin had 10. She'll be big to keep an eye on. And also, Maya Wardle and Emmy Wardle each have 12 for the Irish. And I'm not keeping track of turnovers, at least I'm not. But I got to say, there's probably at least 10 to 12 turnovers that the P&D Irish forced in that first half.
They've definitely forced a lot of steals, a lot of turnovers. That stingy press is doing its work.
Certainly has. And while we have a quick moment, want to let you know, head on over again to CSM Overtime, where you have plenty of content for Central Illinois high school sports, including the P&D Irish. Head on over to clutchsportsil.com/overtime for news, feature stories, all sorts of game coverage coming up as the playoffs roll along for girls, and also starting with boys next week. We're going to be out at lots of different gyms around the area, writing recaps and much more for high school basketball. And over again, clutchsportsil.com/overtime, or scan the QR code on your screen. We'll take a quick break here from IVC. Irish lead 39-18. We'll be back in just a little bit. Stay tuned for the second half on Clutch Sports Media.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories, your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action, more stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Look no further than Clutch Sports Media, your go-to destination for local high school sports coverage in Central Illinois. Our business has reached almost 1 million total views on YouTube and is connected with an astounding 39,000 accounts on social media, averaging thousands of views with each post. That's 39,000 engaged and passionate sports enthusiasts who love tuning into our content, ready to become your new customer. Clutch Sports Media is offering an exclusive opportunity for local businesses to seize the spotlight. We are opening up prime advertising spaces in our social media posts and live sports broadcasts. Partnering with Clutch Sports Media isn't just about visibility. It's about being part of a community that loves and embraces the spirit of sports. It's about making lasting connections with your target audience. Don't miss out on this winning opportunity. Clutch Sports Media, where Central Illinois plays its biggest games.
Welcome back to IVC. It's halftime of a Class 2A regional title game between the Peoria Notre Dame Irish and the Sherrard Tigers. Glad you're spending your Friday evening with us on CSM. I'm Jonathan Michael. Alongside me is Canton Sexton. And Canton, let's take a quick look at other scores from around the area. According to IHSA Score Zone, no other games going on right now. There is another game between Byron and Marion Woodstock, but this is one of the only games in Class 2A going on around the state. Again, winner of Bloomington Central Catholic and Eureka, which tips off at 7 p.m., will face the winner of this one at the Canton Sectional next week. That's going to be a loaded one with DMAC as well as Canton in there as well. Some teams I know that you're familiar with too.
Yeah, I did the CSM previews for both DMAC and Canton, as you just mentioned, so I know both coaches and both teams pretty well. You can read those over on CSM Overtime if you want to check them out. But, you know, this is going to be one of the most loaded sectionals, as they have the best teams in the Central Illinois region battling it out for the Class 2A title in Canton next week.
That one is certainly sure to be a doozy. Going to be some great games over at the Alice Ingersoll Gym. But talking a little bit about both teams here, you mentioned you're talking with Doug Swanson about Sherrard, just getting to know them a little bit. They have an interesting tradition that they do every single year. Tell us a little bit more about that, Caden.
Yeah, so I spoke with Doug Swanson and Lane Lanehoff as the week went on, but when I talked with Coach Swanson of Sherrard, he mentioned to me how he's been coaching over 14 years at Sherrard, and he doesn't know how it started, but every single practice that he's been a coach for since he can remember, so over a decade. They've ended each practice with a half-point contest. The half-point contest is between him and one of the senior players. They select one player at the beginning of the season, and it's that same player against Coach Swanson doing a half-point shootout. I mean, you don't hear that often, and that's kind of the fun stories that we get to hear when we talk to different teams, especially teams that college doesn't get to see, and the Central Illinois region doesn't get to see more than once a season.
Yeah, and I think you meant half-court shot, not half-point shot.
Half-court, sorry.
Half-court is worth 6 times as many as half a point, but that's certainly a fun tradition that Sherrard does, and I remember basketball practices myself shooting those half-court shots just either before or after practice, or maybe in between as well, and we're getting a break. So fun tradition for Sherrard, and Sherrard is a school that has a lot of good basketball tradition. Lots of 20-win seasons recently, looking for their 3rd regional title in a row. Have some work to do to try and get there tonight against the #1 team in the state. But again, for Sherrard, it's a young team. They'll certainly, I think no matter the outcome, they'll learn from this game as well. You look at their team, lots of sophomores, lots of juniors. Their only seniors are Navi Lyon, Ellie Goebel, Caitlin DeBlock, and that's pretty much it for Sherrard. Just 3 seniors. A lot of players on the court right now are sophomores and juniors, so this team will be set up very well heading into the future.
Right, before Grace Boner got hurt or got out with mono, they were starting 2 sophomores and 3 juniors. Definitely a very young core, one that can just keep building and keep progressing. And I mean, they're not too old on the PND side as well, with players like Lexi Bear, with players like Caitlin Cassidy, with players like Emmy Wardle, who are all going to be back next season.
That makes PND even more scary. We talk about the Central Illinois area at least. I'm sure that it's the same up near the Quad Cities area where Sherrard is, but just the talent of these teams, so much of it comes from sophomores, juniors, seniors, so the area is looking phenomenal for the future. You got players like, for DMAC, Dahlia DeJesus, all-state selection she's a sophomore this year. You got Canton, they have some good young talent as well.
Allison Wheeler.
Allison Wheeler, I believe, is a senior.
I'm pretty sure she's a junior, unless I'm mistaken. I know
a junior.
Their top 2 players are junior, sophomore. I know that.
I'll defer to the Little Giants expert in the room, Canton Sexton. I'll take your word on that one, Caden. We're ready to go already for the second half of action. P&D leads by 21. A lot of their games this year have been running clock victories, and
there's another
there's a steal. Wardle is just lurking in the bushes, and she finishes it off. A little back and forth with Caitlin Cassidy. Great anticipation there. She just flew in from nowhere for snag that one away.
And she flew in there to make a defensive hold that they had to pass out of for the Tigers.
Quick shot is off the mark for Sherrard, and P&D will set up their half-court offense. Nearly taken away by Lyon. Kick over to Bear in the corner. She knocks down another triple. It's a 3-point palooza for the Irish. And a double dribble on Sherrard gives it right back.
Sherrard is definitely frazzled right there. As you saw, they brought 3 defenders up on Maya Wardle. Wardle was easily just able to kick it away, which kind of exposed the Sherrard defense. There was only 2 girls covering 4 players, and the Irish's passing was easily able to find a wide open Bear for 3.
And yeah, there's been a lot of open Irish to curve that to good ball movement, but PND's been picking their spots well as Bear took steps with that one. They'll give it back to the Tigers, but when you have a great distributor like Maya Wardle, then you have players that can knock down shots like Julia Mingus. She's only knocked down 1 3, but she can really stroke it from deep. You also have Lexi Bear, who's just I would put her certainly in a 3-point contest of anybody in Central Illinois, and she'd probably fare pretty well. Obviously, Emmy Wardle can shoot. Maya herself can shoot. Cassidy can shoot. It's just such a dangerous recipe when you have players that can do everything and do it at a high level as well. Tigers inbound, looking to get something going here. 3 ball from Meskin in the corner, wide open and good.
Well, John, to add on to your point there, not only are they great at distributing, but they're unselfish. They don't care who takes the shot. They just want it to be the person that's open, the person that has the most chance, or who's in the best position for success.
Cassidy lowered her head driving into the lane, but it'll stay with P&D. And see Lane Langhoff there in the bottom corner of your screen. We're in a very nice looking green jacket. It's like he just walked off the 18th green at Augusta National. One of the best fits that I've seen from the sidelines this year. It's a good color matchup as well. One you don't see too often, green and blue versus purple and yellow. That's easy on the eyes, I would say.
No complaints up here, John.
Certainly not, as we're gonna jump ball. It'll stay with Sherrard. It'll be Meskin to trigger the inbound. Watch where she goes after. She's with it now at the top of the key. Puts up a shot. No, she traveled. And, you know, Sherrard with his deficit right now, they know that they need to score quick, and I think they're taking some early shots. They want to make sure that they're good advice shots or at least drawing a foul. I think that's what she was trying to do there. Just took 2 steps before that she could get the shot off.
And Maya Wardle had some very stingy defense there, but didn't foul. Playing some very clean but very strong defense throughout this 2 minutes of the second half.
That's been a really big key for, you know, P&D. They started, we were wondering if they were going to be in foul trouble, and some of them still are a little bit. You have Bear with 3, and then Mingus, Cassidy, and Maya Wardle all with 2. So it's something to keep an eye on, but, you know, we saw when Bridget Dooley came in, she gave some very good minutes while Bear was on that bench back in that first half, and Maya Wardle's fouled, and she'll have a chance to add to her total with 2 more.
Yeah, Wardle's currently already leading the team with 14 tonight. So we are only 5:47 in the third quarter.
And exceeds her point total for, or point average, I should say, for the year of just a hair over 13. Her first one is on the mark, and her second one is likewise as well.
And for Sherrard, number 42, Grace Boner.
Here comes Boner again for Sherrard. She's been a big factor for the Tigers. After she got on the floor in that first half, that's where Sherrard jumped ahead to that 10-4 lead, and looked like there could be a sort of almost an unexpected night for the Irish, but they have responded in a big way, as they've done when they've needed to this year. I was going to say it so often, but again, like we said, haven't trailed very often this year.
No, they just took a second to take some deep breaths, to calm down, to stop making mistakes and just be themselves and play like they always are. So here's a 3 from Bear.
That one just a bit short. Sort of a reverse of the last time we saw P&D, at least on the CSM airwaves, when they took on number 1 Lincoln in Class 3 at Renaissance Coliseum. Irish jumped out to a big lead. Looked like that they might defeat the mighty Railers, who are still undefeated, until Chloe Froby had other ideas. Wardle's 3 is off and to the left, but I mean, final score of that one was a 63-52 Lincoln win. It was much closer though than the final score indicated. And again, even though P&D in Class 2A number 1, you can make the case that they could really beat any team in the state when they're playing their best basketball.
No, for sure. And I mean, they have 2 losses against Alton. That was something that when I talked to Coach Lane Lanehoff, he made sure that I knew that they battled in both of those games. And they look at that as a sign of who they are, that they did lose to them, but that they played Alton better than most teams do.
And Alton's the number 2 team in Class 4A, only behind undefeated Loyola Academy. As ball rolling around on the hardwood.
Just because they're a Class 2A team, John, it means the best need to come and beat them. It doesn't matter the class. It just means that PND needs to see the best in order to fall.
Certainly Class 2A is just very strong top to bottom this year. Dooley, nice cut and one. Bridget Dooley, and sort of almost an unsung hero for Peony. You know, isn't a starter for them, but just plays really good basketball. And she has over the years of her Irish career. Is Maya Wardle gets a well-deserved breather, as does Rachel Fender for Sherrard. Dooley's free throw is off to the right. And P&D 3 points away from, it won't induce the running clock in the third quarter, but if they do hold a lead by 30 heading into the fourth, that clock will run, and that's how many of their wins have been. Their average margin of victory, again, I repeat, average margin of victory this year is 39.6. So a running clock win is just another day at the office for P&D.
Yeah, you know, again, this is a regional game, John. It's not something you normally see, but that just shows you how strong P&D is and how consistent they are on the court.
Free throw rattles around and goes for Bonert. She's up to 5. World drives and kicks. Bears triple is no good. Stickelmeyer nearly flew head-on into a cushion of some sorts.
Looks like the railing just being cushioned off there.
It's good to have that, knowing that their Asian players diving for loose balls. IVC, safety first.
Maya Wardle is kneeled down to check back into the game. She came onto the bench, went over to the trainer, got taped up on her arm, and is now ready to just go right back in.
She is a gamer, that's for sure, as Sherrard loses it out of bounds.
Looks like her elbow there, John, her left elbow.
I maybe just got a little cut there. It's been a pretty physical game for the most part. I haven't seen too many fouls here in the third quarter. Just 1 for the Irish and 3 for the Tigers. Mingus drives in. Here's Stickelmeyer, the junior. Bear, open look, got it to go. She's in double figures now, and she's knocked down a couple triples now tonight. Actually, now she's got 9, all of which are on the three-point ball.
As if I'm wrong, John, I've only seen her take 3 shots, so I think she's 3 from 3 from the arc and 3 for 3 on the game.
She's been a huge piece of this great P&D team. Nice layup, quick trigger from Adeline Ellsbury. Bear was the transfer from Richwoods, came just right down the road from P&D. Was a all Big 12 player last year for the Knights, and in her just her freshman year, comes over to P&D, and you had her in, you had Emmy Wardle in it as well. So a team that was already going to be good with Caitlin Cassidy and Maya Wardle and Julia Mingus and the crew coming back.
You know, as we talked about, John, I've done a lot of CSM articles and interviews with some other 2A teams, and all of them have talked about how their battle, how their test is playing P&D, how they started training camp with P&D marked on their calendars, how they started out the season of how do we beat P&D, how do we defend P&D back in August when they were forming the team and having tryouts. The other 2A schools in the Central Illinois region's thought process was how do we beat P&D. They're definitely a team that you have to look out for in a team that instills that much fear in a team's head.
It's a puzzle that many are still trying to figure out. They lead by 27. Bear drives in. We'll see, get a look at her mid-range game, just a bit too strong. Offensive boards from Emmy Wardle. Tigers bring it in. Now here comes Ellsbury. Here's Maynard on the dribble drive, just a bit too strong. Says, look what I found, but blocked away by the Irish. And foul on the other end is Mingus will head to the line for 2.
Fouls number 23, Adlin Ellsbury.
Foul going there on Ellsbury.
Team fourth. Mingus to the line.
Ellsbury, gotta say, I give a huge thanks to Sherrard. One of the most detailed stats that we've seen all season sent to us by head coach Doug Swanson. Ellsbury leads the team in plus minus this year, 100 and plus 170. That's pretty good. I mean, over the course of 29, 30 games, it's that you're having a great effect pretty much every night for the Tigers, and Ellsbury has. Wardle gets the mid-range to go. 53-24. P&D knocks on the door of that running clock. Three ball on the way from Ellie Swanson. And put back up and in by Grace Boner.
That's her 7th point of the night.
And there's Wardle again on the other end. She's up to 20. Irish get it right back. And with a push there on the Irish, that one.
They're calling it on Cassidy.
Number 21, Caitlin Cassidy.
That's her third.
Her third. Team third.
Mingus will check out, and Emmy Wardle will come back in.
Number 23, Emmy Wardle.
Here's Maynard. He's been aggressive early on the drive-in kicks. And pass from Fender. Bounces off a teammate and goes out of bounds, and P&D have a chance for the last shot. 28.6 seconds remaining.
Yeah, some miscommunication there from the Tigers, resulting in just another turnover.
Wardle brings it slowly up the court. She's in no hurry, which I don't really see too often from her. She plays with her pedal to the metal just about all the time, at least when she needs to. Finds Bear open in the corner. Three ball came up short. Tigers now a chance to have the last say of the third. Fender loses it. Half court heave from Wardle is too high off the backboard. P&D leads by 29 heading to the fourth. They can taste their first regional title since 2014.
They can, John. One of the goal of the season was to go undefeated in conference. Then they set their next goal, win the first regional since 2014. You know what comes after regionals, John?
That would be sectionals, and that will be right around the corner if they can hang on. They are looking good in doing so right now. We want to take a quick word and say, if you want to advertise with us on Clutch Sports Media, plenty of opportunities available for the rest of the postseason and also into the spring as well. And cover our spring sports, both on the broadcast side and on social media as well. If you want to advertise your business or get your brand out there in front of an audience of over 20,000 followers combined over YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, reach out to us, clutchsportsil.com or clutchsportsil@gmail.com, for more information. We love to hear from you and figure out how we can help you and your business grow. Loyal high school fan base here in Central Illinois. It's been a great season for girls basketball in the region, Caden. We have at least more than a handful of teams that have already punched their tickets to sectionals, including Illini Bluffs, Canton, DMAC. P&D is looking good. Either BCC or Eureka will head there as well. Washington, Morton won their regionals, as well as Normal Community in Class 4A. So got, I believe, 8 or 9 teams that will be playing in the regional round. Peoria Heights as well. They play tonight for a regional crown. It's good to see. I mean, we talked so much about P&D, and I think you can definitely say they are the standard around Central Illinois, but there's lots of other good teams that will be taking the court next week in the sectional round.
Yeah, a lot of great teams to watch, a lot if you follow, or just some that'll be in your backyard, whether you know them or follow them or not. It's great to see that a lot of just teams are thriving, whether they have thrived in the past or are having seasons that they're going deeper in than ever before. It's just great to see more and more teams in the area winning.
And you remember a good point, Caden, is there's Bears 3 is short. You have teams like P&D is obviously good every year pretty much, and but this is a really special year for them. What a foul! Meskin went full speed into the padding behind the basket. She'll head to the line for 2, but you have teams having seasons that they don't have very often, like P&D, Peoria Heights as well. What a turnaround the Patriots have had. DMAC is having a phenomenal season. Canton is, I believe, set a program record for wins at the mid-20s right now. And then you have teams like Washington, Morton that have been there before, and guess what? They're back yet again. Normal Community has also won 30 games for back-to-back seasons as well.
That was Violet Meskin's 15th point of the night. She's got almost or more than half of the points here for the Tigers.
She's played well. Hasn't quite gotten the help from others, but credit that more so to P&D's defense, who's been forcing turnovers all night long. Ellsbury driving in and spinning. Nice move, but Cassie was just a roadblock. Now here's Bear in transition, using her height, but can't get it to go. Fender's down briefly, but now back up for Sherrard. And bodies hitting the floor all over the place. That was Josie Harkey, the latest Tiger to hit the deck. Be a foul on P&D. That'll be on Julia Minguez, her 4th. But with the running clock, I think won't hurt P&D too much. I'm sure the Lane Langhoff will be bringing in his reserves here in not too long. Ellsbury's 3 is no good. Fender, nice drive, but there with the follow. Navy Lion, her first bucket of the game.
Yeah, the senior playing her last game here as a Tiger gets one up.
Even though the lead is less than 30 now, P&D did get up to 31. That triggers the running clock. Once it does get to that point, it doesn't stop, except for timeouts like P&D takes here. Julia Mingus drains the triple, and it's P&D leading 60-30. And we'll see what the Irish do here, if they keep their starters in or bring in some substitutions, but looks like they have all but locked up a regional title. Again, they'll face the winner of Bloomington Central Catholic and Eureka, 2 teams I had the chance to see last week. They played each other. In fact, this is a rematch of a very good non-conference game that closed out both of their regular seasons. Central Catholic won that game, but we'll see what Eureka has in mind. I think that's a big key for both teams. Both P&D and really any team in the area at this point of the year is just staying healthy. I talked to Central Catholic, Eureka. They were dealing with some sicknesses on their teams, respectively. And, for P&D, you obviously you want to stay healthy, and it seems like they are right now. No one's got hurt tonight, so that's certainly good to see when the Irish are at full strength. But even if they're not, they have girls off the bench that are ready to step in.
No, for sure, John. I mean, when you're a team this good, you have to have somebody off the bench who can come in and play minutes to keep consistency when there's foul trouble or when there's injuries. And P&D has that. Just because we talk about the top 5 players that start doesn't mean that there is not players off the bench who would be starting on other schools and who play consistently strong whenever they're out there.
Certainly, and we've seen Dooley come off the bench with some good minutes. Stickelmeyer is played well. As Abigail Chaddock and another teammate head to the scorer's table. Bucket there for Sherrard. That's Ellsbury. One of the girls on P&D's bench that's pretty much almost been forced to enjoy this ride from the sidelines has been Sammy Lard, the senior. She was able to score a bucket, if I'm not mistaken, on senior night for the Irish. That was certainly a special moment for her, and another memory that she made as starters check out for P&D. Their night's through.
A good amount of change as well on the Sherrard sideline, John.
And get those players in there, get them some playoff experience as P&D's 5 on the court now is Abigail Chaddock, Allie Stickelmeyer, Ellie Bayer, number 4 into the game. And there's turnaround up and good by Cora Hines, the freshman forward into the game. And also, there's number 14 for P&D. Don't have a 14 on the roster that I have in front of us right now. We'll try and get that name to you soon. And for Sherrard, layup no good from Beth Churchill. She's in along with Maynard as well as Jenna Simborski. Ellie Goebel with it now. And we'll take a look at who the 5th player is on the court. Looks like that's Caitlin DeBlock, the senior center, getting some minutes in what will be her final high school game.
You know, John, I think they've brought out both seniors who we haven't seen tonight here. A very nice move by Swanson to let his players play in their last game. See you in a couple minutes.
Free throw off the mark by Maynard. And that second one is up and good.
Kendall Maynard had seen a good amount of minutes tonight, but that is her first basket.
Now here's Sickelmeyer back up to Chaddock. P&D may just pass it around. Maybe the reserves will try and score. We'll see. It's always fun to see the approach. They want to score. Allie Sickelmeyer gets in the book, her first back. It's to get a nice little turnaround there from the junior. It's always fun to see these players, like you said earlier, you know, these are girls that, you know, probably could start on a good number of area teams. We just, you know, don't see them as often because you have, you know, you have the law firm of Wardle, and Bayer, plus Cassidy and Mingus.
And I mean, all 5 of them recorded a lot of minutes in most games. You didn't see Bayer too much tonight because the fouls early, but we saw her a lot at the end as well.
Nice drive in off the glass, no good from Goebel. And a minute left to play, P&D. Here's Bayer in the corner. Diminutive senior, just 5'3", getting into the paint. I love to see that from her. It just couldn't quite get it to go. With some more substitutions for the Irish.
Irish with a few too many on the court right now. They're still trying to figure out some substitutions, but the clock isn't stopped.
In hockey, they call that changing on the fly. Nice curl around there, and shot from Chaddock couldn't quite go. And it's up and good. Ellie Bayer.
The senior with the layup gets one of the biggest P&D roars of the night, John.
Their sideline loves it. They're going to love a regional title even more. And the Irish have won their first since 2014. 66-33. Irish are moving on over the Sherrard Tigers.
It was a hard-fought start from the Tigers. We saw that 10-4 start. We saw the gas pedal of, you know, with the little bit of a surprise from P&D, but quickly P&D calmed down, very much thanks to Maya Wardle, who ended the night with 20 points, who was able to just get her team to breathe, get her team to be calm and collected. As you can see, Lanehoff and Swanson having a nice conversation here at center court. But PND turned it around. PND became the team we all know and that we all see, and PND will now be accepting the regional title trophy for the first time since 2014.
How sweet this must feel for the Irish. Postseason hardware, it's been a long time coming. They certainly deserved it. They have their eyes on even more, and they can certainly do so. A big win over the Sherrard Tigers, 66-33. And like you said, Caden, we don't have official game MVP honors, but if I were to give one out, I have my pick. Who's your pick?
I mean, who else besides Maya Wardle? 20 points, but in my opinion, the more impressive stat was her defense. She had a couple steals, and she was running up and down the court. She was defending everybody. She was forcing turnovers, forcing steals, playing her stingy defense, forcing the Tigers to make lots of mistakes, and just very strong play on both sides of the court.
Certainly, many of her assists came to her sister, Emmy Wardle, who finishes with 12. Lexi Bear dropped in 3 triples, finished with 9 points. Caitlin Cassidy was quiet in the second half, but had a good first half. She finishes with 9 and had an effect on this one, certainly. Julia Mingus had a pair of 3s, finishes with 6. Dooley with 4, Stickelmeyer with 2, Bear with 2, and Hines also with 2 for the Irish. Now on Sherrard's side, their season comes to an end at 17-13, but certainly I'm sure they learned a lot from this game and they'll use it to get better in the future, and it really just credit to them. They hung in there as best as they could, and really they didn't let PND get too far away with this one, and I'm really impressed, I think, with their effort. They were led by 15 from Violet Meskin and 8 from Adeline Ellsbury.
Yeah, they definitely held their ground, and they definitely played PND a lot tougher than most. The score might not show how hard and how tough they battled, as well as their record. Just because they're 17-13, 8-4 in third place in conference hasn't shown how close they've been in so many games, and just this game as well will be able to show them we'll be able to show them how good of a team they are and be able to build. But the Irish, I mean, they've played more than 13 ranked teams and are going to move on and play in a sectional next week.
Well, the Irish didn't need any luck tonight. They move on 66-33 over the Sherrard Tigers. One more quick word for us at CSM. Again, head over to clutchsportsisle.com/overtime. Our Michael Savoy is on the court right now waiting to interview the PND Irish. We'll have a story coming up for this game. Don't miss it on CSM Overtime, and also much more content for both boys and girls basketball coming down the stretch. State wrestling is this week. PND's got some state wrestlers down there. Ian Akers, Michael McLaughlin, Chase Doherty. We'll be catching up with the wrestling outcomes of the week. Also our daily roundups, all the scores and stats, top performers from around the area every night as well. So again, get your subscription today. And also, if you'd like to advertise with us, hit us up, clutchsportsil@gmail.com for more information. Again, plenty of spots available for the playoffs and the upcoming spring as well. Advertising packages that fit any budget, both on the broadcast side and also on social media as well. That will about wrap things up from IVC, the Spook House. Home of the Gray Ghosts. PND puts a scare in the rest of Class 2A with another big win over Sherrard. They're moving on to the sectional semifinals at Canton next Tuesday. For all of our broadcast crew at Clutch Sports Media, our camera operator Harvey Newcomb, our producer Patrick Huber at the 6, our reporter Michael Savoy on the floor right now, our photographer and social media guy Paco Alonso, and my great broadcast partner Caden Sexton. I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long from IVC. PND is your regional champions for the first time since 2014. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll talk to you soon on ClutchSportsIL.com.